Alright guys, thanks for clicking on the video today. What we're working on is a little bit of a shifter mod. So a while back, I did a couple of shifter bushings. There's one shifter bushing that mounts to the rear, and then there's I guess it's a pivot bushing. I can show you what they are in a little bit, but I replaced those with polyurethane ones, and I still had a lot of shifter play. So I further investigated it, and there's this like joint inside the shift linkage that the bolt that was holding it together had, like, the nut had fallen off and the bolt slid out, so it was still connected, and the bolt hit the transmission, so it couldn't come all the way out, but there was so much play in it. So I bought a new one of those joints, and I replaced it when I did the engine swap into my car. Now when I did that, there was like a lot of the shift linkage was messed up because of the bolt rattling around in there. So I needed to get a new shift linkage. So the shift linkage was kind of wallowed out. So I drilled the hole slightly bigger, put a slightly bigger bolt through it, hoping that would fix the slop problem, and it didn't. So I still have shifter slop with all these new bushings and stuff like that. So what we're doing today is going to fix that problem, hopefully. But with the stuff I'm replacing today, there shouldn't be any reason there should be any shifter play. So let me show you what I got going on. So here's the parts we're working with today. I got all the part numbers out for you so you can see them. Firstly, we got a new shift linkage. There's the part number if you need one of these. And this is for a 2005 Outback XT. So I got a new shift linkage because this piece is messed up and I just wanted to get it. So yeah, new shift linkage. And then over here we have, this is a pivot bushing. So there's the part number. I'll also put them in the description below because this is having a hard time focusing. So this is the bushing and pivot that goes on the shifter. The part that the shift knob connects to, this is the bushings for the pivots, and they're kind of like plastic. They're not even really rubbery. But I got some new ones of those just in case those are bad. And they're 15 years old, so they probably are. Yeah, so this piece goes right here, and that connects to the shifter, goes right here. And then I also got this, which is what I'm most excited about. This is the centerpiece for that joint I was telling you about, which goes in here. Unlike the OEM one, this one has bronze bushings instead of rubber. So this should have zero play. It'll be really notchy. And that's the hopes. Oh, and here's the part number for that. Again, having a hard time focusing. So yeah, with all these parts, the hope is that the shifter is going to be very solid and notchy. That's the goal. Alright, so just to give you an idea of the kind of shifter play I'm talking about, it's in first gear. That's the side-to-side shifter play. And there's up and down shifter play, but I'm not going to show that on video for obvious reasons, but that's quite a bit of play for being in gear. And then I could show you down below. So I'm going to start out with the easy part, which is popping this off and installing the new bushings in the shifter. So to pop this out, you just kind of reach under here and pop from the back, and then it slides out. I don't know if the shift knob's going to make it easy to come off or not. Okay, let's see. Adapter, no, I guess the adapter didn't stick. Alright, this should be easy then. Alright, cool. Shift knob off. And then does this thread on too? Oh yeah, it does. Alright, and this is probably a good time to plug this, but if you haven't seen my videos on how to make this carbon fiber shifter bezel and this Alcantara shift boot, I'll put a card up in the top for you to go check those out. Guess they don't unscrew, you just gotta pull on them. Okay, Then this little foam deal should come out. Just like that. And now we can see the shifter. So if you look down in here, you can see that this is the new shifter part that I got. And then this is the shift shaft, or whatever you call it. So you can even feel some play. You can see that the linkage is moving when I move the shifter. And this is in neutral, so let's put it in gear. And yeah, it's mostly in the linkage. So I'm gonna unbolt this so that I can put the new bushings into the shifter, and then we'll begin the process of pulling that out as well. All you need is a 12mm socket and ratchet. Okay. That out of the way, and then bolts out. So now the shift linkage is disconnected, and we can get to the shifter bushings right in here. I think I might need a screwdriver to pop these out. So if you look down there, you see the part where the ball and socket joint is. I don't know if you can see that moving, but it seems like that's where the up and down play is coming from. It's like the difference between the insert and the split ring right there that's holding it in. So the play is not actually coming from these bushings right here. And just from like a visual inspection and a feel, they feel pretty good. So I'm not going to install those bushings yet. I'm gonna remove the linkage and reinstall the new joint linkage. But I'm gonna leave these for now, and if I decide to replace them down the road, I will. But these were only like $16, so it's not that big of a deal if I don't replace them. But I'd rather have the stock ones in there than putting some aftermarket one in there that I don't think I need. So that being said, I'm going to remove these 4 bolts right here, and that'll pull this plate off, and it'll disconnect this rubber bit from the body so that I can slide the new linkage in. All right, and these bolts are also 12 mils, so you just need a little extension. I could be using my electric ratchet for this. Yeah, you know what? I got a better tool. I love power tools. And there's 2 screws right down in here that need to come out because they're also connected to this metal plate. How did I do this last time? There we go. Okay. Now, ouch. Okay. Metal is out. You can see the joint right up here. There is a roll pin, and it's 2 roll pins. There's a center roll pin and an outer roll pin. So you have to hammer out the center roll pin first in order to get the outer roll pin out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hammer out the first one. Yeah, so I use this one to hammer out the center one. So I'm gonna do that right now.
Come here.
There we go. Oh, right in the eye. Okay, so there's a large roll pin out, and now this should come off like that. Now I'm gonna go up top and pull it out. Here's this guy, and as I showed you earlier, this little piece that moves in the middle, that's what we're replacing. And this one's pretty new. It's as old as the engine is, so not very old at all. It may be slightly loose, but nothing bad. I need to drill this out in order to fit the new piece in. Some of these, they're bolt-in design, so there's just a bolt that goes through here, so you won't have to drill those out, but I'm gonna have to drill this out real quick. So I'm gonna knock that out real quick, and then we can install the new center section into it. All right, so there is the joint on there. Hopefully this eliminates some of the slack. I really don't know if this is gonna work or not. So let's get this installed. All right, so a couple things aren't fitting. For one, the new piece that I got to replace this is not the same shape or length or anything. So obviously that's wrong. And I'm pretty sure I got the right part number. And then as well as this piece doesn't fit into here. So I'm just gonna say screw it to the bolt-on stuff. I'm gonna start fabricating some stuff. So this piece we're gonna have to do some work on, and then this piece we're gonna have to do some work on. Basically what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm just gonna sand down the edges until it fits in between these two pieces. So it only needs just a smidge removed, maybe not even 1/8 of an inch. Alright, so got this sanded down. It's nice and smooth still. It's nice and flat. And it fits in here now. It's pretty tight fit. So I'm gonna fit this up real quick and see how it moves. Alright, so this isn't tightened down, but herein lies the problem, because the holes are too big. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. All right, so I think the course of action, so if I put this bolt in here, you could see there's quite a bit of play. There's like this is about like 2 sizes too big of a hole. So I think what I'm gonna do, I could weld these holes up and re-drill them so that I can drill the correct size hole, but I think that's gonna be hard to get the spacing of the holes correctly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get 2 washers that are the inner diameter of this bolt that needs to go in there, and I am going to bolt this together with those washers on the outside, and then once it's centered up where the bolt can go through and it goes through both holes easy, I'm gonna weld it onto this piece right here. That way the holes will be perfectly round in the center, they'll be the perfect size, and that'll ensure that this assembly will be able to go together without any issues. So alright, so I got a couple washers on the end right here, just to get the correct sized hole, and I have them centered up. This one's not centered up yet, but I'll center it before I weld it. But it's centered up so that the hole's the correct size. So I'm just going to tack those on there on both sides, and that should make this mount firmly. Alright, so I did a little bit more fabrication after the welding. If you can see here, I sort of beveled the edges of the bushing because it was binding up a little bit, and then the side that was too big to fit in these, I had to grind them down. So I basically took a measurement of the one that was already the right size, which was 37.75 or no, 39.75. And then I just kept grinding down this one until it was that size. So that's the proper size so it doesn't bind up. And now it's tight. Let me show you. So it's tight and it's pretty smooth. It doesn't have to move much. So as long as it's, you know, moving good in this direction, I think it should be fine. So I'm gonna get this installed in the car, and I'm gonna install it like this, not with the arm on there, because I gotta put the arm through the boot and stuff. All right, so I put the roll pin on a screwdriver, and that's how I'm gonna put it in here, get it started in the hole. Alright, so apologize for the darkness. Let's see. So it's a lot better. Damn, okay. Okay, so it's a lot better. But I can see that this little cup down here, so when it's in gear there's still movement, but a lot of the movement is down in there. So I think what I'm gonna do, it's a little like snap ring. I'm gonna take that snap ring out and I'm gonna just pack that full of grease in there, and hopefully that'll absorb or smoothen out some of the slack. But you can see, like when I shift into gear, you can see it moving. So I'm gonna try to pack it in there. If not, this is still better. I can still feel some slack, but it's better. So yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so got everything all buttoned up the rest of the way. Okay, so everything's back together. It didn't completely eliminate the in-gear slop. It still kind of moves, but I'm thinking that that's probably because of the ball and socket bushing right down there that might need to be replaced. But let me show you this. One thing it did help with is before, when I would be in neutral and I go to shift into first, it would push past the gate, like it would push like extra this way, and then but now it's like it just goes right into first, so there's not that extra slop right there. So it does feel a little bit notchier, but overall it feels better. It's not completely fixed, but not bad. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.